Hola, soy el profesor Antón García Fernández. Welcome to a new video on this YouTube channel aimed at clarifying certain aspects of Spanish grammar that are sometimes difficult for my students at the university. On this video, we are going to learn how to tell time in Spanish. This is not as easy as it may seem sometimes. And the first thing that you need to know is that it is very important to review your numbers in Spanish, how to count at least from 1 to 29. So you should review that before going on any further. The way to ask what time it is in Spanish is by using the phrase ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? You could say, for example, ¿Qué hora es, por favor? It's always a good idea to sound polite. ¿Qué hora es, por favor? Or you could also say, Perdone, ¿qué hora es? As in, excuse me. Perdone, ¿qué hora es? O disculpe, ¿qué hora es? Disculpe, ¿qué hora es? And of course, the response will depend on what time it is at a given time. When you hear the words ¿qué hora es?, the first thing you do is you look at your watch or you look at a clock on the wall. And then you can tell what time it is at that specific time, because that is what that question is asking, the time that it is at a specific time. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Now, if it's 1 o'clock, what you will use is the singular, es la una. And note that you're using the feminine, una. Es la una. Es la una. If it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 11 o'clock, then you're going to use the plural. Son las dos. Son las dos. Son las tres. Son las tres. Son las cuatro. Son las cuatro. And so on and so forth. In this case, you could also add the words en punto, as in the English o'clock. You could say, it's 2 o'clock. Son las dos en punto. Son las dos en punto. Or you could say, it's 1 o'clock. Es la una en punto. Es la una en punto. But you don't really need to say en punto. You can choose to say it or not. Let's look at other cases. For example, when it is 15 minutes past the hour. In that case, you need to use the expression y cuarto. Y cuarto. So for example, if it's 2:15, then you would say son las dos y cuarto. Son las dos y cuarto. If it is 1:15, then you would say es la una y cuarto. Es la una y cuarto. Anytime 1 is involved, then you're going to use the singular. If it's any other time, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you would use the plural. For example, 7:15. Son las 7:15. Son las 7:15. And note that time is always feminine. Son las 7:15. If it's half past or 30 minutes past the hour, then you will say y media. Y media. For example, if it's 8:30, you're going to say son las 8:30. Son las 8:30. If it's 10:30, then you will say son las 10:30. Son las 10:30. Of course, it could be that the time is 5 minutes past the hour. And in that case, you will use the number of minutes. For example, if it's 7:05, then you're going to say son las 7:05. Son las 7:05. For example, if it's 8:14, then you will say son las 8:14. Son las 8:14. 14. If it's, for example, 1:27, then you will say es la 1:27. Es la 1:27. So you use the number of minutes. That's why it is important to know your numbers and to review your numbers when it comes to telling time. Let's talk about the case of, for example, 45 minutes past the hour or a quarter before a certain hour. In that case, the big hand on the clock is past the half. And in that case, what you're going to have to do is go 1 hour up and then say menos cuarto, menos cuarto. So for example, if it's 6:45, okay, the big hand is past the half, so you'll have to go 1 hour up, which is 7. Son las 7 menos cuarto. Son las 7 menos cuarto. If it's 3:45, again, you go 1 hour up to 4. Son las 4 menos cuarto. Son las 4 menos cuarto. For example, if it's 12:45, after 12, you have to go 1 hour up. So after 12, we have 1. So we go back to the singular. Es la 1 menos cuarto. Es la 1 menos cuarto. Of course, it could happen that the time, for example, is 7:40. If it's 7:40, we are again past the half. Therefore, being past the half, you have to go 1 hour up. If it's 7:40, what you have to do is go 1 hour up to 8 and then see how many minutes are left until the top of the hour. In this case, 20 minutes left until the top of the hour. So 7:40, you would say son las 8 menos 20. Son las 8 menos 20. If it's, for example, 12:55, again, it is past the hour. It is past the half, okay? So you have to go 1 hour up. 12:55, after 12 we have 1. So you would have to say es la 1 menos 5. Es la 1 menos 5, because there are 5 minutes left until the top of the hour. When it's noon, for example, we have a specific expression that one can use. Es mediodía. Es mediodía, which basically means midday or noon. Es mediodía. When it is midnight, we have a specific expression you can use. Es medianoche. Es medianoche, which means midnight. Note that you can use this when it's exactly noon and when it's exactly midnight. If it's, for example, 12:05, then you have to go back to using what we have explained. Son las 12:05. Son las 12:05. But if it is exactly noon, or if it is exactly midnight, you could say es mediodía, and you can say es medianoche. Students often ask about AM and PM. In English, we say, for example, 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. We say 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m., and 8:30 a.m., that kind of thing. Do we have this in Spanish? Do we have AM and PM? Well, that expression does not exist in Spanish, but there are ways of telling or making it clear that we're talking about AM or PM. And the expressions are the following. De la mañana, which means in the morning. De la tarde, which means in the afternoon. De la noche, which means in the evening. So you can add these expressions to specify if it's in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. So for example, if it's 9 a.m., we can say Son las 9 de la mañana. Son las 9 de la mañana. And in that case, we know it's a.m. If it's 2:30 p.m., for example, it is afternoon. So we can say, son las 2:30 de la tarde. Son las 2:30 de la tarde. And if, for example, it's 10:15 p.m. in the evening, then we can say, son las 10:15 de la noche. Son las 10:15 de la noche. In that way, you are specifying if it is a.m. or if it is p.m. Once again, the expressions are de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. Sometimes the students ask, well, when does one begin and one end? It depends on the country. Of course, in the United States, we talk about the evening a little bit earlier than people would in Spain, for example. But as a rule of thumb, this is what I would say for when to use de la mañana, when to use de la tarde, and when to use de la noche. De la mañana would be from 1 a.m. until 12 p.m. From 1 a.m. until 12 p.m. De la tarde, it would be from 12:01 p.m. until 7:59 p.m. From 12:01 p.m. to 7:59 p.m. we would say de la tarde, because usually in Spain, de la noche begins at 8 p.m. A little bit late, you might think, at least from an American perspective, but that's the way it is normally used in Spain. So de la noche, it would be used from 8 p.m. until 12:59 a.m. And then we will start all over with de la mañana. Again, this is just what I would do, but it could change depending on the country and depending on the speaker. The students also ask if in Spain or if in Spanish people use military time. And it is used, but it is used mostly in schedules, TV schedules, plane schedules, train schedules, bus schedules, because it is clearer to use it. But it is not articulated in the same way that we would do it in English. So, for example, 2100 hours, we wouldn't say something like son las 21. No. We would just go back to what we taught before. 2100 hours is 9 p.m. Therefore, what you would say would be son las 9 de la noche. Son las 9 de la noche. It is very common to see military time written, but when it comes to saying it, people usually go back to the patterns that we have explained in this video previously. And as a way to sum up, if you think of a clock, anything that is on the right side of the clock, when it comes to the big hand of the clock, anything on the right side from 1 minute to 30 minutes would use the conjunction E. So for example, if it's 3:07, we would say son las 3:07. Son las 3:07. If it's 4:20, we would say son las 4:20. Son las 4:20. If we say, for example, it's 8:30, we will say son las 8:30. Son las 8:30. And anything on the left side of the clock, from minute 31 to minute 59, we will use the word menos. And you have to remember, and this is very important, you have to remember to go 1 hour up. So if it is 7:45, we need to think that we got to go 1 hour up. And we need to say son las 8 menos cuarto. Son las 8 menos cuarto. And if it's 3:48, we are again on the left side of the clock because it's 48 minutes. So you have to go 1 hour up because it is past the half. And then you have to think about how many minutes are left until the top of the hour. In this case, 12 minutes. So what you would say for 3:48 is son las 4 menos 12. Son las 4 menos 12. I hope that this video has helped you review how to tell time in Spanish. We will be doing another video to cover how to talk about at what time something is in Spanish. Until then, thanks for paying attention, muchas gracias por todo y hasta la próxima.